I was sitting in my cramped studio apartment, staring at another rejection email when my phone rang. Victor Hale's name flashed across the screen, my best friend Ryan's father. We'd always been cordial, but this was unexpected. "Caleb, I need your help with something." Victor's deep voice came through. "Can you meet me at my office tomorrow morning?" At 30 years old, I had hit rock bottom. My business had failed, my girlfriend had left, and I was barely scraping by with odd jobs. I had nothing to lose. The next morning, I arrived at Hale Industries, a successful logistics company Victor had built from scratch. His corner office overlooked the city, a stark contrast to my one-room existence. "Caleb, I'll be direct," Victor said, gesturing to a chair. He was 52, distinguished with silver threading through his dark hair, wearing a tailored suit that spoke of success. "I need someone I can trust, not just for paperwork. I want to offer you a position here, operations manager, and there's a furnished apartment above my warehouse you can use until you're stable." I was stunned. "Victor, why me? I'm not exactly successful right now." His gray eyes held something I couldn't quite read, a mixture of weariness and determination. "Because you're honest, Caleb. In my experience, that's rarer than talent." Within a week, I'd moved into the apartment and started learning the business. Victor was patient, teaching me the logistics industry from the ground up. He stayed late with me, sharing insights over coffee, treating me more like a son than an employee. "Your father would be proud of how you're rebuilding," he said one evening, referencing my late dad who'd known Victor in their younger years. During those first weeks, I occasionally visited Victor's home for dinner. His wife Elaine was 48, elegant and polished, always perfectly dressed. She was pleasant but distant, her smiles never quite reaching her striking green eyes. Ryan was there sometimes, friendly as always, talking about his real estate ventures. Everything seemed normal on the surface, but I began noticing small things, the way Elaine's phone would light up and she'd immediately excuse herself, how Victor's jaw would tighten almost imperceptibly, the separate bedrooms when I stayed late and saw the upstairs layout. Something was fractured in the Hale household, and I was about to discover just how deep the cracks ran. 3 months into my new position, I was thriving. Victor had given me real responsibility, and I was good at it. The company was expanding, and I finally felt like my life had direction again. One evening, I was working late in the warehouse office when I heard voices from the parking area below. The window was open, and I recognized Elaine's laugh, breathy, intimate, completely different from her usual controlled demeanor. "We can't keep doing this here," a male voice said. My stomach dropped. It was Ryan. I moved to the window, staying in the shadows. Below, Elaine was pressed against Ryan's car, his hands on her waist, kissing her with an urgency that made everything clear. My best friend. His own mother. The betrayal hit me like a physical blow. I thought of Victor, who'd saved me from drowning in my failures, who trusted me with his business. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I knew I had to tell Victor, regardless of the consequences. When I entered his office, he was reviewing contracts, glasses perched on his nose. "Caleb, good morning. Close the door, please." His tone stopped me. He looked up, and I saw it. He already knew. "Sit down," he said quietly. "I need to tell you something, and then I need your help." Victor removed his glasses, suddenly looking exhausted. "I've known about Elaine and Ryan for 2 months. I hired a private investigator initially, but I need more. Documented proof, financial records showing where money's been going, communications. I'm filing for divorce, but I need to protect myself legally. Elaine comes from wealth, and Ryan—" He paused, pain flickering across his face. "Ryan thinks he's entitled to part of my business." "Victor, Last night, you were working late. You saw them, didn't you?" I nodded slowly. He leaned forward. "I need someone I can trust absolutely, someone who understands what integrity means. Will you help me gather what I need? Not for revenge, Caleb, for truth." Looking at this man who'd given me a second chance, I felt something solidify in my chest. Yes, whatever you need. Good. He pulled out a file. Then let's begin. This isn't about destroying them. It's about protecting what I've built and walking away with dignity. That's when my real education began. Over the next 6 weeks, I became Victor's confidant in ways I never anticipated. He taught me to track financial discrepancies, to notice patterns in behavior, to document everything meticulously. Evidence isn't about emotion, Victor explained one night in his office, showing me accounting records. It's about creating an undeniable timeline. Ryan had been siphoning money from company accounts he had limited access to, small amounts but consistent. Elaine had been using their joint credit cards for hotel rooms, expensive gifts that never came home. Together, they'd been careless, entitled, never imagining they'd be caught. I felt sick watching my friend's betrayal unfold in spreadsheets and text message logs Victor's lawyer had legally obtained. But I kept working. One evening, Victor invited me to his house. Elaine was supposedly visiting her sister. Ryan was out of town. We stood in his study, surrounded by 20 years of marriage memories. Want to know the worst part? Victor poured 2 glasses of whiskey. It's not the affair itself. It's that my own son looked at what I built, at his mother's commitment, and decided he deserved it all without earning it. The affair with Elaine, it's about power, not love. How are you so calm about this? I asked. Victor looked at me with those steady gray eyes. Because rage accomplishes nothing, Caleb. I learned that building this company. You can be angry and stupid, or you can be hurt and strategic. Only one of those paths leads anywhere worth going. He moved closer, and I felt the weight of his hand on my shoulder, heavy with trust and something else I was only beginning to understand. In that moment, standing in his study with golden evening light filtering through the windows, I saw him not just as my employer or my friend's father, but as a man who'd been profoundly wounded yet refused to break. "Thank you," he said quietly, his hand sliding from my shoulder down my arm in a gesture that felt more intimate than professional. The air between us shifted, charged with unspoken recognition. 2 men who'd been betrayed by people they'd trusted, finding unexpected solidarity in shared pain. "I won't let you down," I promised, my voice rougher than intended. "I know you won't. That's why I chose you." The confrontation happened on a cold November evening. Victor had scheduled a family dinner, except this time his lawyer was present, and so was I. Elaine arrived first, immaculate in a cream cashmere sweater, her confusion evident when she saw the formal setup. Ryan came minutes later, his easy smile faltering when he registered the atmosphere. "What's this about, Dad?" Ryan asked, tension creeping into his voice. Victor stood at the head of the table, and I'd never seen him look more controlled, more powerful. "Sit down, both of you." He laid out folders in front of them, bank statements, hotel receipts, photographs, text messages. The color drained from Elaine's face. Ryan's jaw tightened. "I'm filing for divorce, Elaine," Victor said calmly. "And Ryan, you're removed from any company inheritance or board position. I have documentation of embezzlement, fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty. My lawyers have prepared criminal charges, but I'm willing to make this civil if you both sign these agreements tonight." "You can't," Ryan started, standing up. "Sit down," Victor's voice cut like steel. "You had an affair with your own mother. You stole from the company I built. You have no moral ground here." Elaine started crying, mascara running, her composure shattered. "Victor, please, we can—" "There is no we anymore." He gestured to the papers. "Sign or face criminal charges. Your choice." I stood against the wall, witnessing the collapse of betrayal under the weight of truth. Ryan looked at me with pure hatred. "You did this. You helped him." "No," Victor interjected. "Caleb showed loyalty, something you never learned." They signed. The lawyer witnessed. Within an hour, it was over. After they left, Victor stood by the window, shoulders finally sagging with exhaustion. I approached slowly, uncertain. "It's done," he said quietly. "Are you okay?" He turned, and for the first time I saw tears in his eyes. "I will be." Without thinking, I pulled him into an embrace. He stiffened momentarily, then relaxed, his forehead dropping to my shoulder. We stood like that, two men who'd survived betrayal, holding each other in the wreckage. "Thank you, Caleb, for everything." "Always," I replied, meaning it completely.
3 months later, I stood in front of my own office, Monroe Logistics Consulting. Victor had helped me start it, investing not just money, but mentorship, connections, and unwavering support. "Your father would have loved seeing this," Victor said beside me, pride evident in his voice. The divorce had finalized. Elaine moved back to her family's estate. Ryan had left the state entirely. Victor had emerged legally protected, financially secure, and emotionally intact, testament to the power of strategic dignity over reactive rage. "I couldn't have done this without you," I said, turning to face him. He smiled, the warmth finally reaching his eyes again. "You saved yourself, Caleb. I just provided the opportunity." "No," I shook my head. "You taught me that integrity matters more than success, that how you handle betrayal defines you more than the betrayal itself." Victor's expression softened. Over the past months, our relationship had evolved beyond employer and employee, beyond family friend and son's companion. We'd become genuine partners in business philosophy, in understanding life's complexities, in mutual respect forged through crisis. "I want you to know something," Victor said seriously. "When I called you that first time, I was testing you. I knew something was wrong in my marriage, and I needed someone with nothing to gain from deception. You could have chosen Ryan's side, your friend. You could have stayed silent to keep everyone comfortable, but you chose truth. I chose you," I corrected, "because you gave me a chance when I had nothing." He reached out, squeezing my shoulder, that gesture that had become familiar, grounding. "And you gave me hope that integrity still exists. That's worth more than any business I could build." We entered my new office together, discussing expansion plans, laughing about client negotiations, building something genuine from the ashes of betrayal. 6 months ago, I'd been broken and desperate, answering a phone call that seemed like a small favor. Victor Hale had offered me more than a job. He'd offered me purpose, showed me that character matters most when everything else falls apart, and proved that sometimes the most unexpected acts of kindness come from the least expected places. My life hadn't just turned around, it had transformed completely, built on the foundation of loyalty, truth, and the quiet dignity of a man who refused to let betrayal define him. And I'd carry those lessons forward forever. The end.